Good evening. My name is Emily Underwood. I'm the Community Initiative Specialist for the Missouri Historical Society, and I'm here with my colleague, Shakia Gillette, who's the Director of African American History Initiatives. And we want to thank you for joining us virtually tonight and welcome you to this installment of STL History Live, Women Supporting St. Louis. The Missouri Historical Society hosts 2 STL History Live programs every week, so be sure to check out the full lineup. You can find that on our website, which is mohistory.org, or you can find that on the Missouri History Museum Facebook page under the events listing. And before we get started with the program, I want to take just a moment to express a little bit of gratitude. First, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our members. We really appreciate your support that helps keep programs like this series running during this time and always. And if you're not a member, but you'd like to learn more about our membership program, I did post a URL in the chat, so you can click on that link. I also want to recognize the support of the Zoo Museum Tax District with a sincere thank you to everyone here in the St. Louis area for your tax contributions. In the second half of today's program, we will have some time for questions and answers, so you can submit your questions through the Q&A button that you'll find in your toolbar down at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to get to as many questions as we can. And if you do want to go back and watch this program later or share it out with people, it will be on the Missouri Historical Society YouTube channel starting on Monday, so you can do that. And finally, at the end of the program, we would love to get your feedback. At some point during the evening, you'll notice that a tab pops up with a short survey. It should just take a minute or two of your time, so please be sure to fill that out and let us know what you think. Let's get into it. I want to give you a little bit of background first. On August 1st, the Missouri History Museum is going to be opening our newest exhibition called, I'm going to switch my slide here, Beyond the Ballot, St. Louis and Suffrage. And in addition to placing St. Louis in the story of the suffrage movement, this exhibit is going to highlight 32 local women who played a significant role and made change in our community before they ever had access to the vote. And this exhibit was originally intended to open in the spring. For obvious reasons, we had to delay that, but we were still thinking about these stories and how to connect them with women today. And then, of course, we all started social distancing and we were processing what was happening in our world. And as we were doing that, we were noticing that along with all of the scary news that we were reading and seeing, we were also seeing these wonderful stories of people stepping up to help their communities. And while there are certainly plenty of men who are helping their communities as well, we did notice that a lot of these stories we were seeing were about women. And so it was really almost impossible for us to not make that connection between the stories we were reading in the news and then the stories of these women from 100 or even 200 years ago that are featured in the exhibit. And so today we're going to be joined by 3 contemporary women who have generously agreed to take some time to share their stories and talk about their work with us tonight. And those 3 are Lourdes Bayón of STL Juntos, Jennings Councilwoman Asia Owens, and Shayna Poole Jones of Keep Pushing Inc. And so to start the program, what we're going to do is ask each guest to take just a few minutes to introduce themselves and talk about their work. And we're going to go ahead and start with Lourdes Bayón, who is the co-founder of STL Juntos, which provides Spanish language resources for coronavirus updates and much more. So she'll give you an overview. And Lourdes, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to have been selected as one of the women. So thank you so much for that. STL Juntos is an organization that started at the beginning of all this coronavirus. Well, not at the beginning, but because of. So in March, when the virus started hitting more locally, and we began to see that there was a lot of stuff happening in our area. You know, this virus was coming and knocking on our doors, but we weren't seeing a lot of stuff in the Spanish language. Like, there was so much information coming out, but everything was coming out in English. And so we kind of got concerned, because we know that if not everybody understood, then we were all at the end be affected. And so for us, it became very important to begin translating and sharing information So the first thing that this all came up when a friend of mine, Gabriela Ramirez Arellano, and myself, talked about, who's reaching out to the community, to the Spanish speaking, are they getting information, or where are they getting it from? And so when we realized it wasn't happening, we decided, hey, let's get together and start a Facebook page and see how it goes. So that's how it started. We began collaborating with other organizations. So our main goal is to collaborate with organizations to bring information and resources to the Spanish speaking community in the area, so that they can be informed and so they can understand what's going on in their language. We since have started a Yo Cubro STL, hashtag Yo Cubro STL campaign that Gabriela leads. And what we do is we ask our people from the community to share their pictures with their masks on. And that came about when we were invited to go to a press conference and speak with Dr. Sam Page about the Latinos being affected so disproportionately. So at that point, the next day, there was an order that everybody should wear these masks, and we decided to go ahead and put it out there as something fun for the community. And so we asked everybody to share pictures, but in conjunction to that, on top of that, we're also sharing information relevant to the coronavirus, educational, in Spanish. I've talked to a lot of people, and St. Louis is an amazing place to live. I mean, this virus couldn't have hit me in a better place. There's so many resources out there, but they're not in the Spanish language. So Spanish speakers were being left out, not left out, but they didn't know that the stuff was there, that these resources are there. So we decided to start sharing that. We have doctors on our page. We have Dr. Lopez that you see up there. She comes on and we talk about mental health. She helps us get through, or maybe understand, does a little bit of not a session necessarily, but opens herself up to questions and for the community to hop on our Facebook Live and ask any questions that they might have, just to let people know that they're not alone. We're here together, and most of all, we're all going through this all together. So Dr. Lopez has been so gracious to come to our platform and share with us. She comes she was first coming every week, and then we started doing every 2 weeks. So we have her coming on. We also collaborated at the beginning when we first started. We started our collaboration with the Washington University Medical students and the infectious disease doctors, which we found out that there was a few Spanish speaking doctors who were so gracious and came onto our Facebook, and they were looking for a platform. They reached out to us, and we just connected. We started collaborating. They have helped us come up with several information about the virus in Spanish, of course, and they've helped us reach our community. That was their concern at the beginning. They wanted to reach the community that was not getting the information. So that was important to them, and so we collaborated with them along with other organizations as well. We have organizations like AAA Translations, who at the beginning was helping us as well. We are also now, since the beginning, we came and started doing food distributions for children. What you see right now is the videos that we have posted. We post several videos with Dr. Mejia, doctors from Washington University, and other things that we share. But if you can see, we have like tons of views. And that's when we realized that, you know, St. Louis community, the Spanish speaking community, were looking for something. And so we decided to continue sharing our stuff. There's the COVID information there that was created by the Washington University students. You see a lot of talks and just pláticas, you know, that we do just to reach out and gain the community's trust, because that's one of the things that our community always wants. You know, they want to know that they can trust somebody. So, and with that, we're also now, about 5 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to start doing some food distributions. We contacted somebody because there was a person that sent us information about food distributions, which we were already putting on our website. If you go to our website, you can see we will post and try to update food distributions that are going on a daily basis in the area. We put them out. Everything is in Spanish, but there are some things that you can go in there and click and you'll go into the English. But our main focus is to give information in Spanish. We did realize that a lot of those organizations were asking for IDs or asking for registration in our community. A lot of times either didn't have it or they just simply didn't want to share it. And so when we were contacted by a community member, and they said, you know, there's this organization that is having food distributions. Why don't you reach out? So I reached out to that organization, Appetite for Humanity, and they asked me, you know, how many locations do you have to go to distributions? And so because of that, we started doing distribution. So we're on our 5th week. We do distributions Tuesdays and Thursdays now. We do not ask for any IDs, registrations, or anything from the people, except we want to make sure that we are feeding children from the ages of 1 to 18. We feed about 1,000 children per week now, and we're on week number 5. These are mainly Latino children or minorities. So we have been doing really good with that, and we're really, really proud of that. We're actually feeding them or serving the community and serving 7,000 meals a week, because it's 7 times or 7 meals that they get per child. So at the end of the week, it's 7,000. So we're super excited with that. That's our newest project that we have going on, and that will go on until the end of August. All of this is not funded, actually. It's actually funded by my husband, who doesn't know. But we don't have any funding. It's all volunteer work. We put in a lot of hours, and we are just thankful that the community was open to getting this information, and that they support us, you know, more than anything, that they're there and they need it, and that they're so willing to just be there and ask for the help. We do get a lot of emails from people or messages, that they ask about information, questions. We're like 10 o'clock at night, we're responding to messages. So it's been pretty interesting, an interesting few months. It feels like it's been a long time, but I know it's only been a few months. We've gained a lot of traction on the STL Juntos, and then we created the stlJuntos.com and .org Facebook page as well, for those that don't have Facebook. We're also starting to do some collaborations with the health department, so we can start getting some masks for the people that we distribute to. So I can talk all day. Sorry about Juntos.
That's all right. We love hearing about it. Thank you. Well, I will get a chance to hear a lot more as we go on too. So, but I am going to move on to our next panelist, who is Asia Owens, who's a Jennings Councilwoman, or is Jennings Councilwoman, and the founder of an outreach program called Be the Change, which she organized as a way of giving back during COVID. So I will turn it over to Asia.
All right, thank you. And thank you again for having me. Before I forget, is it Lourdes? Am I saying that right?
Yes, Lourdes. Mhm. Yes.
Okay, I make sure that we connect because I can definitely help you get some masks.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Thank you.
All right. So thank you again for having me. As you said, I am the councilwoman over in Jennings, in the fourth ward. I was elected last year, and so of course before COVID, we were already active doing different things in the community. But when COVID happened, it definitely changed the trajectory of everything that was happening in the community. But we still wanted to make sure we were serving the community because you have so many people that have limited transportation, or it's a lot of seniors in our community that can't really get out to these food drives and different things like that. So one of the first things that we did was connect with a group called the St. Louis Food Angels, which is a group of students at WashU. And they basically started this during the COVID pandemic, where they will do free deliveries for the elderly community or people throughout St. Louis who may be disabled. And they will go pick up food and bring it to them and different, things that they may need. So we connected with them to be able to help us to serve the people in our community that can't really get out. So in terms of the Be the Change, kind of how that started was my uncle, he wanted to do something really big for Easter, but because of the pandemic, we were limited on doing that. So he approached me and said, "Hey, can we bless your seniors with like some free Sunday meals? Around the time of Easter." So, we basically got about 100 people from around the Jennings community, and my uncle, he made all of these hot meals, and we actually went and hand delivered it to all of those residents that first week. Well, after we did that, a couple of people made donations and was like, if you do it again, we want to, donate to it. So we did it maybe a couple of weeks later, because at first this was just a gesture, but it just really kind of turned into this actual movement, Be the Change. So after we did it the second time, it was like 300 people. And then the next time it was like 400 and 500 people. So since then, we've probably served, well over 1,000 people throughout the Jennings community. And even outside of St. Louis, one of the epic ones was Mother's Day and Father's Day. We did a really, really big one for Mother's Day and Father's Day. So that's where we kind of got the whole concept of Be the Change, because in addition to giving those hot meals out, we were giving out PPE kits. We got that from Dr. Punch, who, she's everything. I mean, she's a doctor, but she's also an activist, and she also, just does a lot in the community. So she's donated, at this point, probably about at least 1,000 or more PPE kits, so that every time we're going out, we're able to pass those out to the residents as well. There's so many different agencies that we've actually been able to connect with. Lourdes actually mentioned one of the ones we work with too, which is Appetite for Humanity. So every Tuesday at Metropolitan Church in the fourth ward of Jennings, we do a food distribution for the residents. And one of the unique things about what we're doing, because again, we're thinking about people who can't get out, and really at this point, a lot of us shouldn't really be out so much, is that we deliver to the people. So in addition to the food angels, I have a lot of friends who have donated their time to just be a driver. So they'll come to locations, pick up things, and everybody's always sure to have on their PPE equipment and everything like that. And then they hand deliver these items throughout the community to these residents, which I know a lot of people are very thankful for that, because again, some people just can't even get out. And so to be able to have things delivered, hand delivered to you has been such a burden lifted off of so many people. So it's so many different organizations that have joined forces with us to help us out. Like I say, giving out the PPE kits, there's other churches that have been donating. That's why, definitely we can, all work together as a community, because even the next person coming up, Shayna, is a good friend of mine. So I've visited her grab and go table and brought things over to my community. So we all just kind of work together and share our resources. And I can go on forever too. So I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. And yes, we're going to move on to Shayna. So last but not least, Shayna Poole Jones is the CEO and founder of Keep Pushing Inc. And during the beginning of coronavirus, she started a grab and go table for household products and food, and that has made a lot of headlines over the past few months. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. So Shayna, actually, I'm not seeing, there we go. We'll turn it over to you. Oops, you're still muted.
Okay, I'm here. Hi. Wow. Asia. Lord, y'all really talk. I'm a little shy, baby. I can't see myself, so I hope I'm angled right because I can't see myself. But my name is Shayna Jones. I am the CEO of Keep Pushing. I am not from St. Louis. I'm a Georgia girl. I'm a country girl, but I have been living in St. Louis come November, be 3 years. So I guess I'm almost there. I'm almost to St. Louis. But I am super excited to be on tonight. I am super excited to come share my passion, my heart, my drive with the people tonight in St. Louis. Keep Pushing was actually developed from my marketing company, One Stop. And as my good friend Asia Owens could vouch for me, when I first moved here in St. Louis, I wanted to do something. Me and Asia used to go out and help the unhoused. And my mission is to help the unhoused to transition back into homes. And by doing that, we wanted to connect on foot to make sure that we give them the resources. I wanted to be that resource girl to see what's going on. I didn't want to be a drive-by person. I wanted to be a resource girl to see what's going on with the people that's out here. I have done it in North Carolina. I have done it in Georgia. So I had wanted to see what was the issue here in St. Louis and how I could help. Now, I have done that. We 1520 Market Street, we hosted the first annual family reunion for the unhoused. We brought in so many people, so many resource team, HUDs. Man, we brought in defects. People just come and do hair, do medical, check on them, make sure they're okay. And that was like my booster kick here in St. Louis. And then I realized that I want to get more and more involved. But unfortunately, I'm going to fast forward to a year later, we're here at COVID. And now we are here at COVID. And despite of what's going on and despite of what I'm seeing on the news, COVID had hit me personally. Like I said, I'm from Georgia. I'm from one of the highest spots in Georgia, Southwest Georgia, Albany, Georgia. And that's my home. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. That's my root. And COVID hit my little small city very, very hard. So Keep Pushing was born because during all this time, I wanted to tell people they had to keep pushing. You know, they had to not stop. Me being the person, the face of pain, brokenness and everything, and didn't know which way to go, but also the face of people who I'm out there helping and trying to still help them and give them the supplies they need and make sure they have what they need. I had to keep pushing. So Keep Pushing was born as a nonprofit where we just go out and we just give and we try to give resources. We try to help people. And on top of that, as of April the 3rd, the Grab and Go table was born. I'm high risk. I have lupus. I'm a diabetic. So y'all know I couldn't be out there on the grounds like I want to, but I just couldn't sit in the house and do nothing. So I decided to put a table outside my yard and get some stuff, some groceries, some sandwiches. The first table had apples and oranges, and me and my sons made peanut butter jelly and some meat. Mama Cat, her name is Mama Cat, aka Kathy Daniels of Park Banger, they donated a whole bunch of food to help me get started. And we just started feeding the kids because over here in my neighborhood, the school was shut down. Somebody came positive, so the kids had still need to eat. So we started feeding the kids. Next thing I know, we had another table. We had another table. Now we have this big, as you see on the screen, this big Grab and Go table where people come all day long from 10 a.m. up to 8:30 at nighttime, and they just get groceries. We don't have no limit. They get books, groceries, toilet paper, household supplies, anything that you probably find in Walmart, we have at the Grab and Go. And that's my passion right now, y'all. My passion is, even though I'm going through whatever I'm going through, even though I'm hurting, even though I'm in pain, even though I want to quit, every day I step outside and go to that Grab and Go table, I meet somebody. And we put our strength together and we bring it back up. And so we have enough strength to carry on. And like everybody else, I could talk on and on about my passion. My passion is, this is my passion. This is my heart. You know, I'm a baby. I call myself a baby compared to everybody else because it's just me and my two boys. And we rock this together. And I thank God because God has given me the strength. You know, I don't come from big things and everything. I really come from my community donating to me, my community really trusting me and seeing what I'm doing, and we make this happen. So keep pushing. Is 100% donations, 100% a community effort, and this is what we do. And I leave it like that.
Well, that was actually a perfect segue to my next question. And thank you again, ladies, for participating. And Shayna, you actually just answered this question. How has COVID-19 impacted your life personally?
Well, personally, and I'm gonna try to get through this without being so emotional, but personally, COVID-19 have tore my life up. Personally, as of today, as we stand, I could give you 15 people. I could call out each one of their names. Out of those 15 people, I could give you 8 of them that are bloodline. That we are blood. There's no down the line first cousins, aunties, and uncles that we share life, raise. COVID-19 has put me in a whole state to where I question my faith at times because I don't know if I could push or if I need to just go numb and just quit. And when you're dealing with the community like we are here helping people. We are here giving to people, but we also taking in what the people are giving to us so we can help them. So it's kind of hard for me usually being all filled up and energized when I'm all crumbled and in pieces. COVID-19 have really took me to a whole nother level. I went home last week, 2 weeks ago, and my nerves was bad. I was scared to go outside. I was scared to do anything because even while I was at home, phone calls was reading, hey, somebody else passed. Phone call was reading, hey, you gotta get to the hospital. Phone call. So it's like I haven't had not one day since March the 21st that my phone have not ring. I lost a classmate. I have lost the elders at the church. I have lost family. My mom called, oh, sister so-and-so gone. I haven't had not one day that I could wake up, look at social media and just say we have had one day that nobody has went on. And it's crazy because like I said, Albany is a small town. So it's like everybody know everybody. Everybody's family. We literally are family. But for my family to have to bury 8 people and we don't even know how to grieve or whatever. The hardest one, all of them was hard. But on my birthday was March 25th. My cousin called me. My cousin said, call me, told me happy birthday. We talked, laughed, and everything. On March the 27th, I got the phone call. My cousin said was dead. No symptoms, no nothing, no anything, just dead. He's positive. So COVID-19 has really, me personally, but I have to keep pushing. That's why I keep telling myself, I have to keep pushing. Because my family has transitioned and I got people who walk up in my yard who's dying because they're not used to what's going on, this new norm. They're not used to not having a job. It's not the low income people, it's the doctors, the nurses and everything who thought their job was so secure and now COVID-19 has hit, they furloughed, they're not used to what's going on. So how do I do this? How do I do this? I'm looking at them like, how do I do it? But together we figure it out. So, we keep pushing.
Shayna, thank you so much for your transparency. We really appreciate that. Lourdes and Asia, would you like to answer the question? Do you have any thoughts on how it's impacted your life personally?
So I'm so sorry to hear all of Shayna's what she's gone through. Fortunately, I have not been hit that hard. I think my life has just changed more so in the social, you know, my social life has been as everybody else's, but for me, we traveled quite a bit with, you know, my husband's work, and we traveled to see children. We are here. I've been here about 8 years in Missouri, in St. Louis. All my children and my family is in Texas. My grandkids, I haven't seen them since last December. I went down, my sister passed in December, something not related to COVID, but that was the last time I saw my grandkids. And I was going every 2 months to see them. And so not being able to have that, you know, unity like we used to has been hard. It's been difficult, but you know, I've just, you know, decided that we need to do something to make my existence feel better, you know. And so this is why I started STL Juntos. So it's changed it because now I am working 12-hour days, where I was a housewife that would stay home. I was a housewife that was, you know, doing projects at home, changing floors, literally, changing carpets, putting, you know, new floors on the carpet, new stairs. In fact, when all this hit in March, I was redoing my staircase, and changing the floor from carpet to wood. And then the pandemic hit, or hit close to us, and then I started STL Juntos, and so it was like a challenge. Then I was working 12-hour days, just trying to help my community, and all the projects kind of, you know, took a hold. So it's changed in the way that I see life in a different way. I mean, although I've always seen it, we always have. Now it's like really hit, like you now live every day like it's might be the last day, might be the last time you talk to that person. I mean, you just don't know. And so it's given me a new outlook on life, and more of a need or want to help people and let them know that, hey, we're in this all together. Because at the end of the day, like Shana was saying, you know, everybody's losing their jobs. People that thought that they would never, you know, have to go to a pantry or to, you know, somewhere to ask for food or anything like that. I mean, they just don't know. I mean, some of us, we know how that's done, or we know what to do, and you know, when we have to be tight, but not everybody's like that. And so at the end of the day, we are all one, and everything that you do is going to affect me, and everything that I do will affect you. And that's something that I don't think, I mean, although you know it, like it's just hit us now, we really know. So that's been, you know, pretty amazing. But, you know, grateful that I'm able to do something, because it is very scary. You know, I don't like to go out. It's very scary for me. I hate going out. I don't want to get it. It's very terrifying to see other people that are not following. They're not scared. They don't want to wear a mask, or they don't, you know, they just don't feel like it's a problem. And to me, that's just, it's devastating, you know, to see that, because I'm afraid, you know, yet I still go out because I feel like I have to go out. But, you know, it's just a different way to looking at life.
Thank you.
So I'll chime in. I'm going to start where I knew it was real. You know, Shakia, you and I had been working together on an event that me and my sister was gonna do at the History Museum. And it was funny because literally, I think that earlier that day, you were like, okay, send over the logistics so we can run through the show. And then like maybe an hour later, it was like, we got to cancel. And I'm like, I think the reality, because before I'm councilwoman, you know, I'm an artist and a poet and an author in the community. So I do a lot of different freelance opportunities. And so, you know, when you have like a lot of events already kind of lined up and contracts and all things like that, it's like you kind of, that's your bread and water too. So you kind of look forward to those things you already kind of have scheduled out, going to conferences and traveling and doing all of that. Those things are already kind of lined up like months in advance. And so when it, got real, that's when it got real to me. I'll be honest with you. Like when the History Museum shut down, and then one by one, you just started seeing all of these institutions and schools and businesses start to shut down, with the sports. I mean, like one by one, as you start to see things actually close down, it was like, whoa, but really when it hit home for me was when it personally affected me in terms of things that I already kind of had lined up. So I was like, okay, we're coming upon a new normal. But to be honest, I think, first it was just a shock. But as you started just kind of like going through it, for me, it was more like, okay, just trying to navigate and find creative ways, especially again with the councilwoman position. How do I still serve my people? Because at the end of the day, I do have to, take care of myself. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I know that there's so many people who depend on me who otherwise can't have access to resources and opportunities. So, it was a quick, shift from the shock to, okay, what do we do now? So that was how it affected me initially in regard to losing people. It's one of those things that I haven't lost so many people personally, but I see so many people that are close to me that have lost people, and it still affects me the same way. I did, however, lose one of the seniors in one of the buildings that I go to frequently. She did pass, and that was hard. That was a hard one. And also, I think the very first girl in the St. Louis city to pass away, Jasmine Dixon, she was an alumni of Jennings School District. So she, again, as a matter of fact, I was her substitute teacher back in 2005, so it was one of those things where those two deaths did kind of personally affect me. But I think one of the things that affected me was I did still lose family members and lose close ones, but it wasn't necessarily related to COVID. But COVID definitely played a part in how now we have to interact, because our families are used to, piling up in a funeral home and having a repast and hugging and touching and socializing, and all of that was limited. Now all of those things are limited. You can only have so many people go to the funeral home. You can only have so many go to the grave site. And so when it shifts how you're able to actually engage and interact with people, and even just socially, like I'm a hugger, but now we gotta like find, hey, let me give you a hand out, and so you're learning how to adjust and move around. But I definitely think that that's really how it affected me, more or less, just finding like creative ways to just still manage and deal with day to day.
Oh, Emily, you're on mute.
I thought I had unmuted myself. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. We've started getting a couple questions coming through the Q&A, but before I get to those, I did want to ask also just about kind of the response and from the people you're serving and how they've been impacted and what this has meant to them, or I don't know, how much you get to have one-on-one conversations with people as you're in your work, but curious to know about that.
Well, to be honest, again, I definitely think the people who I serve are extremely grateful, because again, it's not that we're just providing opportunities and resources for them. We're literally bringing it to your front door. So just the convenience of being able to know that you'll get those things, because even like, for the families that have babies and kids, like I'm connected to different agencies where we can get the diapers and, and the feminine products and things like that. And I forgot to mention earlier, I did get 2 grants to be able to help during this time as well. So with those grants, it was also an extra boost to be able to help me go out and get things to actually take to the people. So I definitely think that the people I serve have been grateful for that.
So for me, and STO Juntos, what we do is we do interact with our community, and we try to ask them to interact. That's a big thing for us. Like, we want you to know, we want to know that we're there, that you're there. We want to know what we're doing, because otherwise it's very discouraging, you know, especially for somebody like me that I'm just here working by myself. And then Gabriela, she's working over by herself. So we're like, okay, is this even doing anything? I mean, we see the numbers on the Facebook, but I mean, what does that mean? You know, so yes, we do get a lot of messages. When I do the food distributions, and since I started, I love to do lives while I'm there. And I know people on my Facebook are probably annoyed, but I like to do a lives and I call people and say, hey, you know, in Spanish, you know, come on out, come and see us. You know, I want to see you. And when you're here, say hi. So when they get there, everybody's like, hey, and the little kids are like, hey, you know, in the back, and it's super cute. I have a, one of the, at a food distribution, one of the little girls that's there, she even drew a little picture of me, you know, with glasses and everything. You know, when you hear stuff like that, it's super awesome because it makes you feel like, okay, I'm making a difference, you know, and they're grateful. And they always say, you know, thank you so much. And I always say, no, thank you. Because if you weren't supporting me, then I wouldn't be doing this for you. So for me, it's a huge that, and I always tell them, you know, thank you for being there. Thank you for coming out. You know, I know it's difficult and I know, you know, sometimes you can't do it. I mean, these people don't have money, they can't work. So they don't have gas, but yet they're still getting there. Or, you know, a lot of people are like, hey, you know, I heard you on the live and somebody needs some food. I'll take it for them, you know, and it's just wonderful, you know, to hear stuff like that. But we do get a lot of, you know, communication with the people. I don't know that I would be able to do it if I wasn't hearing that feedback, because it's hard when you're just, you know, working and you're not seeing the impact because you're virtual, you know, everything is virtual, and that's difficult. That's been the hardest thing, because like you know, everybody else has said, you know, we're huggers, you know, we want to give somebody a hug, we want to say, hey, you know, how are you? And now it's like, no, you know, stand back, or let's do it through virtual. So it's been very difficult. But yeah, it's they come out, they always make sure that they say thank you. It's great to hear. Yeah.
Hey, can I add one more thing before you go, Shana? Because we didn't really touch on like the change in education, the education system, and so that's been a very interesting, you know, dialogue. But I'm also part of St. Louis Black Authors of Children Literacy, like Julius Anthony. And we've come up with like a really creative way to, you know, keep the literacy and the interactive, you know, things going in terms of the books. He started a pilot program where we basically kind of are bringing our books alive and doing these little shows and things like that. So he just launched it. I think we actually started a couple of weeks ago at the Missouri History Museum on our site and everything. So that's another way to kind of keep, you know, people engaged and find creative ways to get through this pandemic.
Wow. So I guess like in my thing, oh wow. In the beginning, it was crazy because people was more worried about me. So I would wake up and have flowers all over my front porch, like I'm in the country. Oh, it was so wonderful. My whole neighbors, they would write, kids would come by and write chalk on the sidewalk. They would do all kind of crazy things. I have little notes, sticky notes. I would just wake up to every day. I would come home, open my door, something. It was just sunshine. But the whole, we've been doing this for 4 months almost, going on 4 months. And people that was in the beginning are now coming back around, and they either have started back working or something going on, but they bring me like little gifts to say thank you. Thank you for doing this when I was going through that. And, you know, I'm looking at them. And then most people, it's crazy because I have been on almost every news and everything, but most people haven't seen it. You'd be crazy because like COVID-19 have made a lot of people cut their TV off and like, we don't want to hear nothing. We don't want to watch no media. So it's like, hey, I saw you in the newspaper. I was like, oh yeah, that's me. They're like, you know, oh, you was on front. But they don't care about all that. Like, I don't care about the media, fame, and nothing like that. I care about my people. And Aja would say, I say this all the time. These are my family. These are my uncles, aunties, and cousins. When I walk out the door and see somebody at the table, it's not, hi, how you doing? It's like, hey, how you feeling today? You know, they be like, you know her? I don't know her, but that's my family. So I want to make sure she feel welcome or he feel welcome. You know, we ride down the road, they ride, they blow their horns. Hey, I'm just waving. So the people respond very, very, oh my God. I mean, it's transparent because I'm so business and want to run business, but I really like grab and go is no business. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I haven't, people come and say, you need to fill out for this grant. I think I even reached out here and said, do I need, but my heart just say, leave it alone. You know, just run it as is, because to me, every person who bring groceries, who do this, they are helping themselves. And if you come over here and just sit at the table and just watch the people and see the little kids and see all this stuff, you'll be like, even during this time. So it's so personal right now. Now I keep pushing now. I'm ready to get back out. I'm ready to get downtown. I'm ready to go see all my people. But unfortunately, my health is not strong enough for me to do that. And it bothers me because I have some of my people like, hey, you haven't been down here, you know, at the shelters calling me, hey. But the gratitude of people, I think my story have given people, and I'm just being a little personal right now. People have seen what I'm going through. People have seen it from CNN all over the world. And they look in their mirror and they say, we could do this. I have had over 100 people that have left me notes and say, because of you, I could do this. That's all the gratitude I need. That we don't lose another body. We don't lose another mind or anything like that. So keep pushing.
Well, and you know, we actually do have a question from someone, Shana, asking if you can accept goods from a home pantry. There's somebody from our neighborhood. I say our because I live in the same neighborhood as Shana, but we from the neighborhood who's asking about donating. And I did, just to mention quickly in the chat, you can find links for everyone's websites or Facebook groups there also. But yeah, Shana, if you want to address that.
You know, you could come at Biddle and Fork, right behind the Sam's and Lowe's over here in Maplewood. My home is on the corner, the nice brown house full of love, and I think my house is just staying out right now. If I ever move, whoever move in, they're gonna have a lot of love because people probably still come ring the doorbell. But my porch, I'm from the country, y'all. I'm sorry, I can't adapt to the city life. My porch is my porch. Drop off. Put the stuff on the porch, put it on the table. Long as it's good quality products, I take anything. I have took crutches and somebody had came and got the crutches. So, you know, at the grab and go table is literally like, it's nothing that you would not find. You can find dentures, you can find Pampers, you can find milk, you can find baby food. People have donated some of the stuff I have looked at and be like, but then I realized it's stuff that people can't buy, you know? Man, like I got a whole bunch of dentures. I'm like, oh, I don't got the, but it's people out there. That stuff is expensive because when I started going shopping, I was like, ooh, okay. You know, hygiene stuff, pads, shampoo, soap, toothpaste. I try to keep it all, and people, you could just come, ring the doorbell. Either I'm gonna answer or I'm not gonna answer. I'm answering for camera. Just sit on the table or put on the porch. It's easy. You know, I tell people, I don't mind you donating money, but I would love for everybody to go shopping because we all shop different. And I want my table to be so diverse that it have a piece of everybody on that table. So that's why I tell people, go shopping, because I serve everybody. It's not one person that have not touched my table. And that's why I want everybody to be there, to just, you know, bring donations. Come see the table. Come visit the table. Asia will tell you when she come visit the table, my whole house has turned into a pantry. That table is just love. Love is at this table. So bring your donations. Come wave at me because I need it sometime. And hey, we'll share the community together.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for asking that question to our participant. Now I'm going to pose another question to the group. We don't know when COVID will go away or if it will ever go away. But what happens when there is no longer a national focus on it and it's not the first thing that is in the forefront of everyone's mind? What does that mean for the future of your work?
It's the same, you know, because again, I actually don't feel like it was ever really any change. It was just doing the same thing in a different way. You know, so instead of just going out and serving, now I got to wear a mask and gloves, or, you know, I have to be mindful of, especially the vulnerable communities that I work around, you know, that I'm not exposing them or they're not exposing me. And even me being mindful of where I go. You know, if I know I'm going to be, you know, in a place where it's going to be a lot of people, you know, I try to limit those type of interactions, because I know that I'm never going to stop being out here and being about my community. So I think that honestly, it won't really change anything. It's just more of a thing of maybe readapting to life like it used to be, or, you know, or maybe just having extra precaution. I think now we're all going to kind of be extra cautious anyway. Still, I think that it's still going to be that thing of making sure we're thinking about not exposing other people or not exposing ourselves. And so I think that whenever it kind of changes and dies down a little bit, it would just be, you know, the same thing. I think it'll be the same.
Okay, so for me, I think that St. Louis has always had this gap of, you know, the Spanish language not reaching to that community. And for me, it's been it's been very humbling, and I love to talk to the people. I love to speak in my language. Spanish is my first language. And my parents only speak Spanish at home, and they have for many years. And so coming to St. Louis when I first came here from Texas, a place where I was a majority in Texas. I come to St. Louis and I'm a minority. So I come here and it's like nobody speaks the language. So, but yet finding out that there's so many people here, and the gap is there, you know, and I think it's going to continue to be there. This was not, COVID brought a light to it, because now we realize that we're all equal. And if we don't all know what's going on, we're all going to be affected at the end. And so that just brought the light to a thing that was already there. So these people will always be there. These people, there's people that don't speak the English. They maybe understand it, but they would rather speak their language. And so I really believe that that's going to stay. It's going to, and my hope is that if I ever move out of St. Louis and I'm not here, that somebody else takes it over and somebody else can continue it and reaching out to these people in their language. And let them know that, hey, we're in this all together. You know, we're not alone. We are juntos together, and we can make this happen. You know, so I think I think it's going to continue. I think this is something that's not going to stop. It's just something that came to light, but we are going to continue. The resources are always needed, and St. Louis has so many. St. Louis is an amazing place to live. I mean, I can be on the internet hours and hours and searching for and finding resources after resource after resource. It's like, it's amazing. And so all I have to do is just translate it into Spanish and just show it to my people. So yeah, it's going to be there. I feel that. I believe that.
Well, I was thinking when COVID goes somewhere, that the people in my community, I'm gonna talk about my community because have told that my community, I don't know the whole history, but it have done something to Maplewood over in this Maplewood and Richmond Heights area, speaking just in gentle. We have so many, I'm like the head lead of all the pantries. We have little box all throughout the city now. I think we have total of 9. We have people, I forgot to tell you in the beginning, when I started this, I had so many people all over the world that was doing the Keep Pushing Challenge. And people were setting up tables all over the city, from Texas to Boston to Georgia to Alabama. I had people sending me pictures where they set up tables. But I really believe COVID, even though we're going through one pandemic to another pandemic to another pandemic, COVID have taught people that we are one. You know, we are one. I think the song back when Michael Jackson them made the song, I can't think of it, Asia. I know you know right on top of it, but it was everybody came together, sung the song.
We are the world.
Yeah, We Are the World. That song come to my head because we have came together as one. And even when COVID have done so much that I don't think nobody would go back to normal. I don't think no organization, no household, anybody would go back to normal because COVID have showed us in a drop of a dime, it could be anybody. And COVID, like she said, COVID have hit everybody. You know, we about to go into August, school is about to, and now we're finna fight another war with the kids. So when this is all over, I believe I still would be going hard. I believe I would still be getting fussed at by my doctor. I believe more people would join the movement. I'm gonna call it a movement of helping and being given and being more given and understand that it can happen to me too. It's no longer that it's just this class that get hit. Right now, it's everybody got hit from high to low, so it can happen to me too. So COVID has really taught, but I be honest with, keep pushing. I want a store. I want a store where people can walk in all day long. Just, get you some food because we never know. And no judgment zone, because that's what a lot of people, when they come to the table, they love these organizations where they don't have to give their IDs. They don't have to give they picture or tell their story, why they going through what they going through. They could just walk up, get what they need, and move away. If they want to talk, they talk. If they don't want to talk, they don't have to talk. So COVID is, even when it's all over and everything is gone, we, the people, is going to go harder. Because we going to still let the people know COVID might be gone, but guess who's still here? I'm still here. Knock, knock. How you doing today? Yes, COVID gone, but how are you doing today? Because when COVID gone, I think Asia, the wellness part, we're going to start working with wellness. We're going to start working with healing. Somebody going to have to come help me heal when COVID gone. And so we got to keep pushing. We got to talk to, got somebody in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. I lost it. Can you come help me? I need you to translate for me because she need help. Asia, I need you over here to talk. She need help. We're going to be reaching out to one another because now we have to help. So when COVID gone, okay, but we still need us. I hope that answered the question.
It definitely did. And I know we're getting ready to move into our other questions. I just wanted to say I'm a firm believer of putting that energy out there and affirmations. And you said you want a store. I believe that you will have a store. That's all I want to say. I'm going to put myself back on mute.
I believe that too. And actually it's hard to believe, but we're all about at the end of our time for the evening. I could have listened to all of you talk even longer. I know we always could, and there's always more to say. And I had all these questions written down about collaboration and all these things that you guys are talking about, which is wonderful. But that was a nice way to end it too, though, Shana. And I think, yeah, I agree with you. I certainly don't see any of you three stopping anytime soon. So, and that makes me feel good to know that we've got wonderful people like you, because there's an awful lot of need in our community always. And there's right now especially a lot of need. And to your point, Shana, some people who didn't necessarily feel that need before are feeling it now. So yeah, so we just wanted to thank you all for the work that you do every single day. Thank you for being here today to share that with us. We really appreciate that and appreciate your time. Thanks to everyone who is watching. Just a reminder, you'll probably get a little survey popping up in your browser. Let us know what you think about the program, and be sure to grab those links that are in the chat so you can go learn more about all of the wonderful work that Lourdes and Asia and Shana are doing. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, ladies.